Today, I'm going to show you how to brand your edits. Okay, let's see what we're working with today before we take our remarkably average edit and make it into a average edit. And we're going to be using Hotel Room Service, the DJ and one. I hope this fucking works edit.
This right here is my swag. All the girls are on me. Damn, everybody pay attention. This right here is my pretty boy swag.
Okay, so not too bad, but this obviously needs to be renamed, tagged, and look a little bit better. So today there's going to be 3 programs that I'm using. I'm going to be using a program called Jayco's, another one called Mix and Key, and then I will be going back into Serato as well as iTunes to finish tagging the edits. So technically 4 programs, but 2 that people probably don't use that much in Jayco's and Mix and Key. Oh yeah, before I go any further, I'm just going to say this. If you're sending in an edit, make sure it is a 320 MP3. I repeat, a 320
MP3.
I don't think there's a single record pool that uses WAV files. If they do, I mean, send in the WAV file. But WAV files take up way more space on a computer than an MP3 file does. And for record pools, they're storing upwards of over 10,000 tracks. So they definitely don't want all of the WAV files on there. So if this would freaking load, dude, where the ha? When you pull up Jayco's, it'll look something like this. What you do is you would just drag the audio file in that you want to edit. And the reason why I use this over like iTunes, I know you can edit all of your stuff in iTunes, but what you can do in Jayco's is you can actually change the file name of the song. So you'll see at the end here, just with a simple keybind of Command-Shift-9, I'm able to change the file name of everything that I've already changed within the track. The title, I'm going to change this from Hotel Room Service to DJ N1 Pretty Boy Swag Edit. And then I put a space between the parentheses. That's typically the standard we follow for heavy hits. I don't know if that's what other record pools do, but a good rule of thumb is whatever the first title is. So since it says Hotel Room Service, you'd want to use that as your artist. So Hotel Room Service is Pitbull. And the album, we always use our like social tag for heavy hits. So at heavy hits pool. And then the genre for this would be hip hop and R&B. And then you want to go, like I said, with the first original name of the song. So not Pretty Boy Swag. You want to go with Hotel Room Service. So what's the release year of Hotel Room Service? 2009. Okay, cool. 2009. And then it also gives you a nice little spot here to put any artwork in that you want. So you could just click on artwork, hit add, and then it lets you pick a file. So I'll just tag this for heavy hits. But you can also put your own artwork, your own logos on there if you want. And then it has album artist, composer. You can tag that with all of your stuff if you want. But I usually just leave all of this blank. And then once you have everything tagged the way you want it, if you hit Command-Shift-9, this is why I use Jayco's right here. Command-Shift-9, it then goes back and then it changes the file name of the track itself. And then once you have everything tagged the way you want it, you just hit the save button here where the freaking floppy disk icon is. You should see everything change here. And then if you go into iTunes, what will happen is Jayco's automatically puts its own folder right below your playlists. So as you can see, I've done this a lot of times. It should start on the bottom. So right here, it'll have its own folder. And you can see too, it has like the heavy hits artwork on there. It has the artist. It has the @ for heavy hits. It has the correct tagging, everything. And even if you go into song info here, it has everything. The genre, the year, the BPM, which we're going to put back into Mix and Key so we can get the key as well as the BPM. But that will all happen in the next step. So now let's move on to Mixed in Key. So Mixed in Key is a great resource for anyone that's definitely into sort of harmonic mixing or really into music theory. What you can do, it operates almost like Jayco's, except it just reads the key and BPM of your song. I'll just grab the correctly tagged version that I have in Jayco's and I'll just drag it into Mixed in Key here. It has a bunch of other stuff on here, but I don't really give a shit about that. So all that matters is that we have the key and the tempo here. Once this is uploaded and says completed, you can just exit out. So now that we have this, I'm actually recording on Serato, so I can't close it and reopen it. But what I'll do is I'll just drag and drop this on here. It actually has it renamed here, and it even has the key embedded. So now it says 4A. And then what I do is I just go through and I'll just set the cue points. I actually have already done a little bit of editing on this as well. So I have it like color coded and stuff like that. But what I typically do is after I do those 2 steps, I then go in here and then I put the cue points that I want other DJs to use as well as myself, so I don't have to go back and just keep resetting cue points over and over and over again. So yeah, I mean, if you use all of these 3 programs, you should be able to properly package and tag all of your songs in a way that any record pool would benefit or want. I mean, if it sounds good and you already have everything labeled properly as well as tagged, I mean, you're pretty much a shoo-in to get it on a record pool. And people definitely take notice of that too. I mean, if people are sending me edits and it sounds good, but I have to go through and like, let's say you send me like 50 fucking edits, then I have to go through and then I'd have to retag all 50 of those edits. That's like an hour plus out of my day. The last piece of advice I will put out there is make sure if you're sending in edits to like submission links and things of that nature, make sure you do research on the back end too and see how people have their genres split up and listed. Like I know Heavy Hits, their genres and how we sort of like classify things is very different than how like a BPM Supreme or like a DJ City does it. So just make sure that you're kind of like catering when you're tagging your edits. Like if you know that you want to send them to all 3 pools, make sure you have a separate version of each one. Not like, I mean, make sure it's like the same edit. Don't change the fucking edit if it's good. But change the genre, like how it's labeled. If they have their keys listed on there, you know, use mixing key. If they don't like putting the key on there, then don't. And then see how a lot of their other edits are labeled too, and just make sure you're properly tagging them that way. Like, for example, I put blend here because we use blend or mashup for a mashup. Sometimes people use the word bootleg too for a mashup, but some people do it differently. So like a hype edit might be a wordplay edit for another site. So just make sure you listen to the edits on each site and see how people are labeling those edits for the edits that are getting on there, and then make sure you tag those accordingly. Alrighty, ladies and gents, that wraps it up for today's video. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And next week, I'll be back with another video. And what's that video going to be on? I totally forgot. Next week, I will show you guys how to make slam edits. They've been very popular recently in the last couple years. So next week, slam edits. I'll see you soon. Peace out.